Behind fame's flashing lights lies a darkness no one dares to see. A man who once stood before thousands, screaming his truth into the night, now silenced forever within the walls of Britain's most feared prison. This is the story of Ian Watkins, the rock idol who became a monster, the prisoner who feared the shadows more than the bars that held him, and the chilling mystery that still lingers: who really killed him, and why? On Cold Unsolved Mysteries Trail, we journey into the twisted world of a man consumed by his own darkness, and uncover the secrets still buried behind Wakefield's iron gates. When Ian Watkins rose to fame in the early 2000s as the charismatic frontman of Lostprophets, few could have imagined the dark spiral that would follow. To the world, he was the tattooed rock idol, a voice of rebellion, his songs blasting through the headphones of millions. But behind the eyeliner, the fame, and the controlled chaos of the stage, Watkins hid an abyss so deep it would one day horrify the world and end his life in one of Britain's most feared prisons. His story begins in the Welsh Valleys. Born July 30, 1977, a bright student with a fascination for performance and art, he co-founded Lostprophets in 1997, a band that would soon explode onto the alternative rock scene with anthems like Last Train Home and Rooftops. To fans, he was electric. To those who knew him, he was complicated, erratic, and increasingly unhinged. As fame grew, so did whispers of darker behavior, drug use, control issues, and disturbing tendencies that those around him dismissed as rockstar excess. In 2013, the illusion shattered. Watkins was arrested and later convicted for a string of crimes so depraved that seasoned detectives called them the most shocking case in decades. The court revealed his secret double life, a world of manipulation, exploitation, and abuse. He was sentenced to 29 years in prison, with an additional 6 years on extended license. The Lostprophets dissolved overnight. His bandmates disowned him. Fans destroyed their albums. Watkins, once adored, became one of Britain's most reviled men. He was sent to HMP Wakefield, a maximum security prison known as Monster Mansion. It houses some of the UK's most dangerous offenders, serial killers, rapists, and child murderers. Even among them, Ian Watkins stood out, not for his fame, but for his crimes. Reports from inside painted a grim picture. He was hated by inmates, watched carefully by staff, and, according to insiders, lived in constant fear, but fear has a way of finding its target. In August 2023, Watkins was attacked and taken hostage by 3 inmates. He was stabbed and beaten, but survived. Authorities promised increased security measures, yet, barely 2 years later, he would not survive the next assault. On the morning of October 11, 2025, emergency calls echoed through Wakefield's cold corridors. At 9:39 a.m., staff responded to a violent assault. Watkins was found bleeding from the neck, his jugular allegedly slashed. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The news spread instantly: Lostprophets singer Ian Watkins killed in prison. But the headlines only scratched the surface. What truly happened behind those walls remains a web of secrecy, speculation, and half-truths. 2 inmates, Rashid Gettle, 25, and Samuel Dodsworth, 43, were charged with his murder. They are said to have attacked Watkins with a knife, but questions abound. How did they obtain the weapon? Why was he not under closer supervision, given his high-risk status? Some sources whispered that Watkins had been paying protection money to certain inmates, a grim currency in the world of high-security prisons. Others claim the motive was drug-related, involving alleged methamphetamine debts. None of this has been officially confirmed, but insiders say Watkins had a target on his back from the day he arrived. HMP Wakefield itself had been under scrutiny. A government inspection in September 2025 revealed a 62% rise in violence and a 72% increase in serious assaults. Older and vulnerable prisoners reportedly lived in fear. Was Watkins one of them? Or had he, despite his crimes, grown complacent, convinced his notoriety could shield him? What's certain is that Watkins's end was violent, sudden, and brutally ironic. After years of inflicting psychological and physical torment on others, he met his own fate in a place built to contain monsters, only to be consumed by them. the aftermath has left investigators and the public asking haunting questions. Was this justice or vengeance? Did the prison system fail to protect him or quietly look the other way? Were there warning signs ignored after the 2023 attack? And, most chillingly, did Ian Watkins sense his death coming? Witnesses have said he had grown increasingly withdrawn in his final months, paranoid, pacing his cell, muttering that someone was coming for him. Whether that fear was fueled by guilt or foresight, no one knows. Prison sources report that he had requested to be moved wings more than once. If true, his requests were denied. Officially, the investigation is ongoing. The West Yorkshire Police Homicide and Major Inquiry Team continues to examine how the killing occurred and what internal failures allowed it. The prison service remains silent, refusing to release details while inquiries are active. No coroner's inquest has yet been published, and no footage, if any exists, has surfaced. The public is divided. Some view his death as grim karma, the inevitable consequence of unspeakable acts. Others see a broader failure of justice, a system unable to protect even its most hated prisoners. Inside and outside Wakefield's ancient walls, questions echo like footsteps down a long corridor. Was Ian Watkins murdered for revenge? Silenced for debts? Or simply destroyed by the same chaos he carried into the world? In death, as in life, Ian Watkins remains an enigma, a man who embodied contradiction. A gifted musician who inspired millions, and a predator who ruined lives. A prisoner despised by all, yet protected by the same laws he violated. His story is not just about fame's corruption or the fall of a rock star. It's about how evil corrodes everything it touches, including itself. Behind the headlines, the unanswered questions about his final hours at Wakefield are a mirror reflecting the darkest corners of human nature, cruelty, vengeance, and the fragile line between justice and retribution. And so, the cold mystery endures. The truth of Ian Watkins's death may lie buried within the silence of those prison walls, guarded by men with no reason to speak, and by a system that would rather the story fade into the noise. Because sometimes, when the monster dies, the echoes are too disturbing to face. In the end, Ian Watkins's story closed the same way it began. With questions. A man who built his fame on sound, now remembered in silence. Was his death a reckoning, or a cover-up? A warning from those within, or the final note in a life already doomed? Some truths are too dark for daylight, and Wakefield's walls aren't talking. Thank you for watching Cold Unsolved Mysteries Trail. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's darkest unsolved truths.